up, guys? It's Kyle McLaughlin here, Vice President of Sales at Waterfront Realty Group. Really excited to share this video with you today as I'm going to outline how exactly to make $70,000 within the next 120 days of your real estate career. Now, it may seem like an implausible goal, however, I'm here to tell you that it's a lot easier than you think if you break it down into two simple steps, which are actually part of this video. The first step is your mindset. So I'm going to really get your mind right, get you flowing, get you on the level that you need to be to execute and close these deals and make that amount of money. The second one is a step-by-step game plan. Think of it as your real estate success blueprint, where I'm going to take you almost on a daily basis on what you need to do in order to hit these goals and accumulate this wealth that you deserve that might change your life forever. So sit back, take some notes, really concentrate on the information I'm about to tell you, and I'll see you on the flip side. The secret to success, which is really the follow-up. And so many people don't understand that, which is kind of why I put this graphic here, which I'll go over. Is following up is the most important thing you can do. I mean, you're out there at your open houses, you're meeting people, you're prospecting, you're meeting people, you're out at the bar, you're meeting people, on a daily basis. Even if it's not real estate related, you still are, and there's still all opportunities for you to make those contacts. See what you do, you put them in wherever you file them in your Rolodex or in your phone or in your CRM or your calendar, whatever you use, and then you never talk to them again. And then, 6 months later, you see that they bought and you wonder why they didn't call you and you're upset. But it's the simple reason that you just didn't stay in front of them. You didn't follow up. I can't tell you how many times I thought I had somebody in the bag and they were like, oh yeah, give me a month and and then we'll talk, we'll list, or I'll buy a property from you. And I took their word for it, and I waited 30 days or sometimes 45 to be nice and call them like, oh yeah, we listed with John R. Wood. Oh my God, kill me. Or, they bought something else, so they moved in a different direction. Had I just stayed in front of them within those 30 days, they would have gone with me. So it's a very important lesson. It's a very tough lesson to learn, because you'll see that commission just basically slipped down in between your fingers. They say the worst day or the worst thing that can happen to a salesman is to watch his commission go to someone else. And it's very true. I mean, you've seen the money go from your pocket to somebody else's pocket, which is the first point. Is action is king. So you must follow up. You must call them. You must email them. Whatever way you think of getting in front of these people. And then more specifically talking about the prospects that you picked up as a for sale by owner here on Zillow. But it really scales all across the board. Like I said before, open houses or anywhere else you're meeting people. Two and two, follow up with everybody you meet. Basically, as you meet these people, make sure you put a plan of action and stick to that action to stay in front of these people. Good way to do that is keeping track of your leads is using a CRM or a CMS, which is short for contact management system. We have one here at Waterfront Realty Group that we provide for you free of charge. Just talk to myself or Danon, and we'll get you set up with one. And basically what it does is it's a place where you can input all your leads, phone number, email, any sort of relevant information, address, what their goals are, just notes in general, and sort them through and put them in here, and it actually reminds you of when you need to follow up with them. So when you call somebody and it tells you, hey, yeah, call me next week, you can go in there and set a reminder for the program to remind you to call them, that day of next week, and it sends you either an email or a text message just reminding you to do that task. So it's very intuitive, very simple, easy to use. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of CRMs and CMSs in the market right now. Some of which are cheap as $10 a month. Some are crazy and overly complicated, or you be the judge. But like something like Salesforce can be pretty expensive because it has so much functionality, but can also be extremely overwhelming for somebody just starting out, or for somebody that's never even used a CRM before. So just keep it simple at first. Ours is It's very functional. You can email blast out of it. You can set reminders to people. You can set up drip campaigns, which I'll go over here in a little bit. And it will remind you to do things, and it will automate that process for you. Very important. Just talked about drip campaign, drip marketing, we call it, and setting your prospect up on that. A couple different ways to do that. We'll stick to the for sale by owner through Zillow that we were talking about. A drip campaign is basically an email or letter, but we'll stick to email that goes out without you really, you set the rule, the reminder, and it goes out without you really thinking about it. So, for example, what I've done in the past when I go see a for sale by owner is I will actually set up an MLS cart for them and an auto email. So for anything that sells in their relative neighborhood or their community, anything that goes active on the MLS, anything that goes pending on the MLS, anything that closes on the MLS, they get an email from me saying that this happened. So what happens is they think, well, actually they see that you're on top of things, that you're sending them emails about their community, that they're staying involved with their community, and you know exactly what's going on. You are the man or the woman that has that community, that neighborhood down on lock, because you know exactly when things happen as soon as they happen. So it makes you look even more professional than before, and without you really having to do anything. I mean, you set up this rule on the MLS. We have trainings on that as well, so just feel free to ask or refer to the videos. Set up the rule on the MLS that says, every week or every Monday or as soon as it happens, send out an email saying, hey, this property just sold, this property just listed, this property just went under contract. So then, who do you think they're going to think of when they say, shit, maybe I should list with an agent, or maybe I should use an agent to help me buy my home? They're going to think of you. They're going to think of the person that emailed them and stayed in front of them the most. It's the easiest way to do a follow-up without really getting too in front of somebody, which is what we talk about next, the difference between indirect marketing and direct marketing. So that's why I say show them you're busy. Indirect marketing are things like these drip campaigns that I just talked about, just auto emails, make them part of your email blast campaign, put them in your contacts, make sure they stayed involved with you. If you do, we have an agent here that does, he calls them Monday motivation. So every Monday he'll send a motivating email out with some sort of quote from a famous salesperson or some sort of influential person in the world with a good quote. And it's just a cool little thing that he does to just stay on top of people, so people remember his name, remember who he is. And he's gotten business from that. People talk about his Monday motivation, and there's plenty of other people that do similar things. Just get creative, and feel free to talk to me or Dana about what sort of things you could do to set up your drip campaign. So something like that is indirect marketing, which still puts you in front of people, but in a very indirect and non-abrasive way, I guess you could say. Now, direct marketing, and I didn't really talk about this before, but the direct marketing are very obvious. Things like phone call, directly getting a hold of them, a very direct email asking them for action, or a visit to their home. Those are always direct marketing, or sending a mailer to their home. That's all direct marketing. So those are things that you set in place. The indirect part of it is automated, so you don't really have to think about it. You just spend some time setting it up, and then you never think about it again until they decide to list with you. Frustrated. If you become frustrated, which you will in this business, there'll be a lot of times where you're just pissed off, you're not getting anywhere with any people, and you're not really, I'm not really on the path that you thought you saw yourself out to be. Don't get discouraged. And this graph shows you why. Basically, 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect, which just blows my mind. So that means half the time you don't get a sale, which is crazy. I mean, why are you even in the business if you're not going to call people back or follow up with them? A quarter of salespeople make second contacts and stuff. So saying like, I followed up with them once and then I gave up because they didn't want to buy, and then I never followed up with them again. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. That means out of 6,000 agents here in Southwest Florida, only roughly 600 of them make a third contact. So that means you're already ahead of 5,400 other people if you just choose to make more than 3 contacts, which again blows my mind. And this kind of breaks it down even further on the sales side of it. 2% of sales, only 2% of sales are made on the first contact, which again, it almost never happens. Very rarely have I called up for sale by owner, gotten an appointment, and then they've signed up on the first meeting, right? It's happened to me before, but it's very rare. It's not your majority of the market. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. Again, not that big of a difference because it's only 2 contacts. But you can see how it starts going up here. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. That means that this person getting 80% of these sales has been told no at least 5 to 6 times, or sometimes even 10, maybe more, until finally he was able to sell through and they agreed to list with him, or they agreed to buy with him, or whatever the case may be. We're sticking to for sale by owners now with Zillow, so we're saying they agreed to list with him. It took him that many contacts, but you know what? He's willing to put in that work, and he set up his drip campaigns, and he put people on his CRM, and he followed up with everybody, and he took massive action, which is the point we're trying to make here. Take massive action for your sales funnel to come through, and he's getting 80% of the business. It's that simple. When you get to a certain point, especially at the beginning, you're gaining experience, you're gaining knowledge, you're chasing the deals. Not the money, you're chasing the deal first. The money will come, actually comes next. Talk about money. Here's the breakdown for you guys. Again, keep in mind that chasing the deals first, and that eventually moves over to commission, right? Which is why we're all here in this business. I really took a step-by-step approach here by breaking it down to a weekly basis worth of work for you and what that equates to. So if you have your massive action plan that we can talk about one-on-one, so basically you've thought out, and I'd use the example, this is actually loosely based on my first 12 months in real estate, and I've achieved this, and the only reason why I put this out is because if I can do it, you can do it too. Right? I would never ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do, so I did this, and I know you can do it too. So $70,000 worth of commission in the next 120 days sounds absolutely crazy, but when you break it down on a weekly basis, it's really not that hard. And what I ask people to do is write down their goal. So if their goal is 70, even if your goal is less than this, if we've tailored some sort of custom approach for you, this is a more generic approach. Again, it can be done. I did it. Um, Take a flashcard, a business card on the back of your business card or wherever. Write down what your goal is and keep it in your wallet at all times so you can look at it every single day. I print out my goals still to this day. I keep a goal sheet in my office. I keep a goal sheet on my fridge because I eat a lot, so I always see it. And I keep one next to my nightstand, so I see it every day before I go to bed. You can put one in your bathroom, wherever, and you're constantly visualizing your goals, which is a very important part of sales, is being involved and being visually stimulated, I guess you could say, by your goal and just keeping it in front of you on a daily basis. So again, write it down. If it's 70K, just work off this example for the next 120 days. That's pretty good. That means on an annual basis, as I break it down, you're making nearly $220,000, which I'm pretty sure will be satisfactory for most of you listening to this video. So let's break it down. Weekly basis. You have 4 appointments that you're going on a weekly basis. Commit to 4 appointments. That can roughly equate to a closing a week. If you're first getting started, you're not going to see a closing right away, obviously. So again, adjust that to where you're at in your current business. And your potential commission is anywhere between nothing if you didn't get a closing that week or $9,000. Again, I made a couple notes at the bottom that I did the commission based on an average sale price of $300,000 divided by the 3%, which is usually what we make is, if we're representing the seller and somebody else brings a buyer, you get on average 3% commission of the purchase price, which roughly in this example is $9,000. Now, side note, sometimes you can double bag the listing, and I'll explain what that means. Is basically just getting both buyer and seller, and then you can have the potential making 6% instead of the 3. But that's case by case. We'll just go with law of averages here. This is 3% commission of 300K equals 9,000K per closing. So weekly basis, once you make it down, you can say, okay, I'm going to go on 4 appointments this week, and I'm going to go to every single one and prospect every single one, and with the intent that I will make $9,000 this week. Looking back, that will have made me $9,000 this week. And you can break it down even further to an appointment, but each appointment you could say makes you roughly, what's that math? $3,000, or I'm sorry, just $2,000 per appointment or something like that. And you're right along the ball there. If you want to break it down per hour, if it only took me an hour, I'm making $2,000 an hour. You can't break it down that much. Once you get into that mindset, before, if you're coming from a corporate setting, you're in the mindset of, okay, I work 8 hours a day, and I will get paid every other week, and I make roughly $1,500 every other week, $3,000 a month, if I give up 40 hours a week of my time. Here, it's task-oriented. You have to be able to make that mindset switch, which we teach you mostly about in our sales training. Again, another video category for you guys. Get into the mindset of being task-oriented. So if I do this, it will equal this amount of potential commission. And that's what I try to break down here. Moving on to monthly, if you're doing 16 appointments per month, including weekends, once you get on a monthly basis, you're roughly averaging 2 closings a month. That's $18,000 a month in commission. Break it down even further into your 120 days that you've committed to. That means in the next 4 months, you will go on 64, at least 64 appointments. Shoot for 70. That will guarantee you 8 closings if you put the work in, right? If you go on your appointments, if you follow up with people, if you stay in front of people, add them to your drip campaign, that will get you 8 closings in one form or another. Now, another side note here for you. Around the 60-day mark, if you are a brand new agent just coming into our training program, you're just starting your prospecting. Around the 60-day mark is when you're going to start seeing some action. You're going to start having some of your deals go pending. You're gonna have your listings go pending or close around that mark. So that's, don't get discouraged if in the first month you don't see anything. Wait for the second month or even third month, and everything kind of comes together. Um, Even if you're not a new agent, if you're experienced and you're just getting into this training program, give yourself at least 60 days, but everything will catch up to itself eventually. That's what we do as salesmen. We're planting seeds to get to the point where you need to be, which is the roughly $70,000 in the next 120 days, if that's what you set your goal to be. So again, 2 closings per month, that equals $18,000 in potential commission. Moving on to 120 days, 64 appointments in those 120 days, that's going to equal 8 closings, roughly $70,000 in potential commission. Now, here's a kicker. If you put in the same amount of work, not just for the massive action that you're taking in the next 120 days, but try doing it for 365 days for a full year, roughly 192 appointments, shoot for 200, you're going to have 24 closings, and look at all of that money that you're going to make, $216,000. If somebody said to you, and I said this earlier, if somebody said to you, I will give you $220K, but you have to meet 192 people this year, 192 new people that you didn't know before, new clients, would you do it? I bet you would, and I know I would too, and I did it. I did this, guys, and you could do it too. Myself and Dana, and we crushed these numbers because we set out to do exactly what this chart says, and we achieved it because all we did was think about our goal on a daily basis, and we went on our appointments, and we got buyers, and we got sellers, and we closed up on a bunch of property, and this can happen. If we can do it, you can do it too. Last point is listings equal opportunity. There's a good sort of unit, not a unit of measure, but a good thing for you to keep in mind is listings are really the lifeblood of our industry, the real estate industry. A good listing agent will always be the most successful agent. If you come across people that say, well, I'm strictly a buyer's agent, that's great. But, once the buyer's gone, where do you get more? I mean, how much money do you have to spend on advertisement if you don't have your own listings to advertise yourself? And what makes you think people are going to go through you if you're not doing any business currently? If you don't have any listings, how are you going to get people to come to you, right? Listings are leverage. You have a listing, you become a figure of authority in that community. You have 2 listings in that community, then you're a master. 3, and just forget about it. Everybody's going to come to you. And basically, by leverage, I mean you have this listing, so no matter when it sells or how it sells, but when it sells, you're going to get paid. So you can let the other agent do all the work, bring the buyer, do all the contracts, do everything he needs to do, and all you have to do is sit back, watch it happen, and collect your commission once the deal closes. Of course, there's a good amount of work that goes into it, but it's very simple, right? Everything's proceduralized for you. Open houses. You pick up a listing, you hold open houses that Sunday or Saturday or whenever you do it. You have access to all these clients that you never did before that you wouldn't have otherwise had if you had not picked up that listing. So now you're having people come in, you're having them sign in, they're giving you their contact information. These are all other potential closings. And that's kind of what reflects on this chart as well, is eventually it's not just your listings that'll be closing, but you'll be closing buyers that you gain from your listings. And that's really the way to get to this $220,000 benchmark. But start realistically at first. 70,000 in 120 days is a great goal. I mean, if you do that, I will personally congratulate you and take you out for a nice continental downtown dinner on me if you do this. And it's not because I don't think you can. It's just because I reward, in life really, it's not just me. Life rewards commitment. If you commit, if you make this your life, then you will see these results. Welcome back. What did you guys think? A lot of good information in that video. I know it's a lot to process, but really, if you pay close attention to the action plan at the end and set that up for yourself, there's no reason why you can't achieve those goals and actually ascend those goals and do even better for yourself. Now, the next part's pretty important because it's all on you. It's action. So you take the action starting right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till Monday. Start today, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, midnight, whatever. Start right now. Set out your goals and your action plan. And let's do this. Let's meet up. Let's talk. Come in the office. Give me a call. Let me be your source. Let me be your guideline. Pick my brain if you need to. Since I have done this before, I can definitely help you guys out on a one-on-one basis. So let's set up an appointment. Let's chat. And I'll see you guys next time. Much success to you all.